I'd like to say hello to Valerie, hello to Art, and hello to Mark. I think they may just be the best audience members yet. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
What Rupert's saying is every other audience member is crap.
Everybody who's not here, that's
We
true.
did not say that.
I implied it's true that I implied it.
Okay. We are on Facebook. We are also, oopsie, where's my channel? Give me that.
How many songs are we doing in total today, Jan? How many songs?
It usually rounds out to about 8, but I always tell people to have 10 ready.
8 songs. Wow. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
it's
I've got 10 songs.
2 hours.
That's-
Huh. For some reason, it did not go to YouTube. I wonder why not. Oh, no, here it is. Maybe. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Well, I don't know why this happened.
It says that it's live streaming to something.
It's live streaming to Facebook.
Well, usually it says Facebook if it's Facebook, but here it says live streaming. It says live on custom live streaming service.
Yes, which is supposed to
Facebook?
be Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, well,
But Jackie, you're not on Facebook, am I correct?
I'll go
She's
take a
muted.
look.
Jackie?
Jackie's muted.
So I'm saying sorry and you couldn't hear me?
Oh, yeah. You're not on Facebook, is that correct?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not.
Brave. I admire that very much. I'd like not to be on Facebook, but I can't afford it.
I
Yes,
used to
I
be
know
on
it's on Facebook. It's not on YouTube.
Definitely on Facebook.
Yes. And now, Rupert, it's on your timeline as well,
Okay.
or it will be in about
Well,
a nanosecond.
I put some posters up on my page, so.
Yes, I saw. Thank you. Okay. So we are just on Facebook this time
Oh, it's okay.
for reasons that are known only to Zoom and YouTube and Restream.
Whew.
Yeah, technology. Love it. And that. And now we've got 3 minutes. So I'm just going
A
to
bunch of people in Israel are going to pop over here when they're done.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. At least Janet and Phil do,
From Israel,
practically
yeah.
every time. And I know they will this time. Mark, you were just at Jerusalem, right? Yeah. By the way, Art, I wanted to ask you during the Jerusalem session, who wrote that song you sang? That's such a beautiful song.
Tom Paxton.
God, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't from his life.
I don't know.
It seemed...
He said he seemed to have had a very good long marriage. His wife died a couple of years ago, and he's 80 or 81 or something like that. But I think that was more of a story than real
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, it's a heartbreaking little tale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Tom Paxton, I'm going to have to remember that. Along with the 85 or so other things I have to remember, including to turn on the recording. So 2 minutes. Anybody have anything they want? Anyone want to sneeze or whatever?
Don't think so. I think we're okay.
Okay.
I did my Venmo, my PayPal, my Venmo thing. I'm all set.
Great.
Mm-mm.
1 minute. I have to say, this is the first time I've been on time for weeks now. I already did that. Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Long night.
Well, I'm pretty tired because I had a gig in Kansas Friday night. It was a 500-mile drive each way, so
Yikes.
it's a thousand miles round trip. So
There's a joke about this.
I'm sure it's called My Life. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired still from that. But this is nice because it helps to fill the vacuum a little bit. You know, otherwise it's quite a big anticlimax. It was quite a big show, and it's nice to have something like this which is more relaxed and just
Yes.
ease me
I
back
agree.
to normal life. You know.
And here we go. So, welcome to Any Sunday Songwriters. Thank you. I knew that.
Thank you. Shut up. Yes.
This used to be something that happened every second Sunday in a bricks and mortar situation. And when the pandemic hit, I realized about 15 minutes in that I now could do this on any Sunday I pleased, hence the name. And also that I could invite people to come and see the show and people to come and play in the show from anywhere, which, you know, used to be limited to people who were in or passing through Austin. That's no longer the case. And I'm frankly delighting in it and intend to keep it going for the rest of life as we know it. So I'd like to introduce my guest this week. On my left, but probably not on yours because Zoom does this differently and then moves people around during the show, is Jackie Kahn, who I met. Actually, I met her in the UK in a little box just like the one she's in right now. And she's just a brilliant songwriter who does this for love. I mean, don't we all? But and we love to listen. So welcome, Jackie.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And to my right is Rupert, who I first met also online, kind of, because he emailed me and said, I'm coming to Austin. Can you tell me some places where it would be good to play? And I found a place where we could do a house concert. And that was my first experience of Rupert's songs. And I was frankly bowled over.
Thank you. Appreciate
Oh, my pleasure. So welcome, Rupert Waits.
you. Hello.
And Rupert, I think, is in New York.
No,
Although-
actually, I'm in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Right
Well,
now.
yesterday he was in Kansas, so what I know is temporary. So Colorado this time. And I'd like to welcome all our guests. Hi, Val. Hi, Art. Hi, Mark. Hello, Phil. Hi, Richard. Hi, Rick. Oh, you should know about this. You need to watch Rick Square from time to time because he likes to put up backgrounds to go with your songs. And it's very entertaining, and we're delighted to have him here to do that.
I might cause him a challenge.
Ha! Not one he hasn't met. Not one that he's met. He hasn't been able to come up with something. That wasn't grammatical, but I'm sure you get the point.
No, I know. Yeah.
So, Jackie, would you like to kick us off?
Okay. Well, I've been a folk singer for a long time, but I only recently started writing my own songs, and it started in. Although I tried, had many false starts. In 2017, both my goddaughters got married, and one of them got married in the same church on the same date at the same time as her grandparents, and that kind of inspired me to write a song about it. The bride is dressed, her veil in place. The car is on its way. Her father wipes a teary eye. It's his daughter's wedding day. And weddings are a time for celebration, a day for starting life anew. It's been the same for every generation. While love goes on, then we will too. picture of another bride and groom walking smiling down the aisle. And weddings are a time for celebration, a day for starting life anew. It's been the same for every generation. While love goes on, then we will too. The date's the same and so's the church, but these are different worlds. Parachute silk has been replaced by designer lace and pearls. And weddings are a time for celebration, a day for starting life anew. It's been the same for every generation. While love goes on, then we will too. 70 years ago today, the rain fell hard and fast, but the love that grew in such stormy times was solid, true, and built to last. And weddings are a time for celebration, a day for starting life anew. It's been the same for every generation. While love goes on, then we will too. Though arm in heaven now, love always finds a way, and they'll look down and give their blessings on their granddaughter's wedding day. For weddings are a time for celebration, a day for starting life anew. It's been the same for every generation. While love goes on, then we will too. While love goes on, then we will too.
Beautiful, Jackie.
That was so pretty. I bet they were really pleased when they heard it.
Well, it was cheaper than a wedding present.
So, Rupert, what have you got for us? You're muted. Rupert, you're still muted. There
Is
you
that better?
go.
Got it. That's
Yes,
good.
it's much better.
Okay, I'll do a new song because there are a few people listening who've heard too much of my other earlier songs. So want to do something new for you, Art, because you've heard them so many bloody times. Relatively new anyway. This is coming from my soon-to-be recorded CD, which is called For the People. This is a song called To the Sea. Can you tell me where my true love lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did she pass by on her morning ride? Follow the river to the sea. Were there wildflowers in her chestnut hair? What's that to me? What's that to me? It was for my sake she then did wear. Follow the river to the sea. There she'll wait on the sun-warmed sands while the waves rise and fall, where the old ruined castle stands and silence gazes from its walls. There she'll watch as the sailors make land, each with treasures galore. They will show her the pearls in their hands that they have brought from distant shores. And in time to come she'll not grow old. What's that to me? What's that to me? For no rusty coin she'll trade her soul. Follow the river to the sea. Can you tell me where my sweetheart lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did you hear her sing as she passed by? Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river to the sea.
Oh, great song.
Is the sound okay? Is the sound all right?
It sounded wonderful.
It
And
sound
it's a
like
great song to boot. So this is a message for Dave Glancer, who just informed me on Facebook that he's here, but his square didn't show up. And all I know to suggest is go out and come in again, and perhaps Zoom will do what it's supposed to that time. We're having a bunch of growing pains with Zoom. So I did a song earlier in Jerusalem today about the song I wrote when I hurt my back and didn't believe it would ever stop hurting. And this was a song about when it finally did. I had to, at one point, get myself a handicapped hanger because I could not walk across a parking lot all the way. And it was an education, I gotta say. And I looked at the handicap hanger, which had an expiration date on it, and I thought, I'm gonna be really unhappy when that expires, because you get spoiled really fast when you can park right next to the door of the supermarket, you know? But on the day that it finally expired, I took it out of my car and put it in the trash, and I looked at it in the bin and wrote this song. Today I cast away my crutches, 'cause the truth is I don't need them anymore. And though I had some doubt, still I shouted hallelujah. And I won't care, I'm no Fred Astaire when I'm out there on the floor. If I got a choice, I got a chance, I gotta dance. Today I boxed up my excuses with other useless things, took 'em down to the Goodwill store, and I put take a risk at the top of my list of things to do, yeah. And if I've never ever done that step before, if I got a choice and I got a chance, I gotta dance. Ooh, yeah, it feels so good, rocking out in the real world like that scaredy cat me never would. Today I broke down some walls and installed a couple windows and a door, and I can smell that honeysuckle as I buckle on my shoes, yeah. And I won't be listening if you're dismissing my dreams anymore. If I got a choice and I got a chance, I gotta dance. I got a choice, yeah, and I got a chance, so I'm gonna dance.
Nice.
Thanks. Welcome, Robin. Welcome, Janet. Welcome, Phil. I didn't say that, I don't think. Glad to see you all. Hi, Richard. If
Hi,
I've
how
already
you doing?
doing okay. Okay, so we just keep going round and round like that in circles until it's time to say goodbye. So, Jackie, you're up.
All right. I've been looking at my family tree because someone told me a long time ago I was an Irish princess. And it turns out I'm actually from a long line of coal miners in County Durham in the northeast of England. And one of my ancestors, I discovered in the 1851 census, he's listed as Richard Conn, age 9, occupation coal miner. And in the 1911 census, he's listed as Richard Conn, age 69, my maths is right, occupation coal miner. So that was a long time underground. And he had 12 children. So he was obviously eating fortified cereal. And this is his song. And I need to explain that the word bait in one of these verses is nothing to do with fishing. It's what in the northeast we call sandwiches that you take to work. He always knew this day must come, the end of all his childhood fun, but his heart was beating like a drum when he started at the mine. There was never any other way. At 9 years old he had no say. He was old enough to earn his pay, working at the mine. For like his father's father and his brothers George and Mark, he always knew he'd spend his life down in the damp and dark. So he took the bed his mother'd made across the fields where he once played, and no one knew how much he prayed go down the mine. Through the gate at early light, swallowed by the cage and out of sight, to spend 60 years an endless night working at the mine. For like his father's father and his brothers John and Joe, he always knew he'd spend his life down in the earth below. He mustn't shed a tear or show the men a trace of fear, for his path in life was always clear, and that path led to the mine. That path led to the mine. Richard's song.
All right. Lovely.
Lovely, Jackie.
Well, listening to Jackie, partly, of course, our shared British accent, but also the song that you just did. I thought I'd follow that with one of my own songs I've just written, brand new song, which also is about young men who were forced into a fate not of their choosing. This is about, I wrote this from the point of view of a soldier in the First World War. He's remembering an evening he spent with his loved one, listening to the song of a nightingale. Now this is called Hills of Black Heather, sorry, Hills of Blue Heather, or the Nightingale's Song. And does the nightingale sing as sweetly as ever in the hills of blue heather where you and I lay, and the music he made filled the darkness with sound until the night found the first light of day. Is the springtime as lovely still as I remember, when morning had broken and I held you near, and we stood together in the hills of blue heather, and the nightingale's song, it rang in our ears. Now
my days are laden with colors of autumn. The ground we have fought on is brown as my clothes, and the night's only music is the prayer of the young men, waiting and wondering whose blood will flow. For the flowers of England shall wither and die here, as the nightingale offers his breast to the thorn, killed by alien hands in an alien country, far from the land where they were born. That I will see you again, as lovely as ever, in the hills of blue heather, one morning in May. And the church bells will ring so loud they will drown all other sounds that welcome the day. And though my eyes are grown older and fires have grown colder, I will see you once more, unchanged by the years, as we stood together in the hills of blue heather, and the nightingale's song yet rang in our ears, and the nightingale's song yet rang in our
Beautiful song. Okay.
So we are going to have a splendiferous afternoon. I just figured out the advantage to having more than one guitar. Because the other one wasn't going to behave no matter what I did that I could do from sitting here. So, and my husband said, well, why don't you just play the Taylor? Oh. So now I understand why people buy multiple guitars. That was a beautiful song, Rupert. So I'm going to do this one for Phil. Who asked for it once long ago. And I didn't remember the whole thing, so this is how I know that Rick can always find a picture. This old red dress used to go dancing. Harold and I would step out on the floor. People would smile when they saw us coming. I miss dancing, but I miss Harold more. This old red dress, once it was new. I loved the way it belled out when we twirled. Satin and sequins and crinolines too. Red shoes to match one string of pearls. I would give anything for one more dance with Harold and me, swept up in the romance. He was my prince and I was his princess when I danced with Harold in this old red dress. I've tried dancing with others, don't get me wrong. Gave each one a chance, but none were as good. That's how it's been since Harold's been gone. Found none to match, didn't think that I would. I would give anything for one more dance with Harold and me, swept up in the romance. He was my prince, and I was his princess when I danced with Harold in this old red dress. Sooner or later, I'll find him again whenever I'm finally laid to my rest. I already know what I'll be wearing then. I'll go to my Harold in this old red dress, 'cause I would give anything for one more dance with Harold and me, swept up in the romance. He was my prince, and I was his princess when I danced with Harold in this old red dress. He was my prince, and I was his princess when I danced with Harold in this old red dress.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful song. Now back to my baking. I'm listening.
Save some for me.
Is it me? I got confused.
Come on over, innit? There you go.
Confused there. When I was growing up in Horden, it's called a small mining village, and as a teenager wanted to learn to play the guitar and didn't know how to go about this. Then I found in the local library a songbook, and it was the John Bayer songbook, and it had little diagrams above all the words to show you where to put your fingers. So this is one of the first songs that I learned to sing, and it's a traditional song which I'm sure you'll all know from the singing of John Byers. It's called Geordie. As I walked out over London Bridge one misty morning early, I overheard a young fair maid was lamenting for her Geordie. My Geordie will be hanged on a golden chain. 'Tis not the chain of many. He was born of king's royal breed and lost to a virtuous lady. Go bridle me, my milk-white steed. Go bridle me, my pony. I will ride to London's court to plead for the life of Geordie. My Geordie never stole nor cow nor calf. He never hurted any. Stole 16 of the king's royal deer, and he sold them in Bohemia. Two pretty babies have I born. The third lies in my body. I'd freely part with them, every one, if you'd spare the life of Geordie. But the judge looked over his left shoulder. He said, "Fair maid, I'm sorry." Said, "Fair maid, you must be gone, for I cannot pardon Geordie. So my Geordie will hang on that golden 'Tis not the chain of many, stole 16 of the king's royalty, and he sold them in Bohemia. Geordie.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, Jackie.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
That's one of my favourite songs, actually. But I'd like to continue with the theme of the First World War, 1914 to 1918. I wrote this song on Memorial Day, actually, appropriate enough. I have to tell you a quick story beforehand. If you go to a certain pub in the southeast corner of England, which I call in the song The Bricklayer's Arms, you will look up at the ceiling and you'll see 25 silver coins nailed to the ceiling, nailed to the beam. And you will ask the publican, the landlord, what do those coins represent? And he'll tell you that they were left there by the young men going off to war in the First World War. They all said to their sweethearts and wives and loved ones, here is a florin, which was worth about 10 pennies in those days, a silver coin. I want you to nail this to the ceiling of this pub that we love so much. And when I come back from the war, as I surely will do, we'll reclaim that florin and we'll spend it on buying drinks for the whole house. So that's what they did. And those 25 florins are still there. And they represent all the young men of that village who never came home from the war to reclaim their florin. So a florin is a unit of currency worth about 10 pennies. And I wrote this little song for all those who gave their lives to their country, all veterans. So Mark, this is for you, actually, if you're still listening, Mark, this is for you among other veterans. I know you were in Vietnam. So this is called A Florin to the Beam.
Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. Promise me that you'll remember me in every letter that you send to me. This war will never make an end of me, as long as you are still a friend to me. Drink up and dry your eyes, and nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. And if I never see your eyes again, that coin will be the one you never spend. No black ringed notice in the Times for me. One silver penny will do fine for me. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. We'll have a high old time, wait and see.
Great.
Beautiful.
Yay.
I love it when a story jumps right out at you and you know immediately that that's a song. Yeah. So the way that I've been keeping myself sane, more or less, however much I am, in the last year and a half is, as I mentioned in my newsletter, for those of you who get that, I've been writing. I've pretty much nonstop because it keeps one from thinking about world events and such. And this was written on the way home from Houston before the pandemic. as part of a songwriting challenge, which during the pandemic, I sought out everyone I could find. But I still love the one I used to do before the pandemic, which was 14 songs in 14 days with a group of people who made that not a joke. And the idea was that you had to have your song up by midnight each night so that everyone else could listen to it. So I'm driving home from Houston having just been impressed by some friends of mine who told me, anytime you're in Houston for any reason, you can stay at our house. Don't ever stay in a hotel. And it was just such a warm and friendly thing to say. And I thought about it on the way home, and then this song was born. When you're hanging by a thread. Shoot. Let me try that again. When you're hanging by a thread, no one hears you calling. That's not it. I may have to do something else and look up the lyrics on this. Yes, that's what I'm going to have to do. Sorry about that. I'll sing it for you later. Let's see. What else could I... Oh, I know. I've gotten to know my house really well. So I thought I'd write a song for my house. We've had some good times in this house, painting walls and growing gardens, holidays and birthday parties, now and then a glass of wine out in the yard, making music with our friends, watching movies in the den, sitting round the kitchen table playing cards. We've had some good times in this house. We are a family in this house. We've had some hard times in this house. We've had storms and we've had anger. We've acted like we're strangers, but then the danger's past, the storm is done. We've had fire and flood, but when push came to shove, we stood with one another and we won. We've had some hard times in this house. We're still a family in this house. You can't see it from the outside if you passed it on the street, but the roof and walls are sweet with life and love. You'd only know that if you live in this house. There's a flute here. One of these days we'll leave this house, 'cause our children will be grown. They'll have families of their own, and one day will be stories they will tell. And the stories will be sweet, like the cookies baked and eaten, and the dinners round the table. So as long as we are able, we'll be a family in this house. We are a family in this house. We've had some good times in this house. Thank you.
Great song.
Thanks very much.
Okay, well, Jan mentioned Fred Astaire. This is a song that was inspired by the women in my family growing up, who loved to go dancing one night a week. It's a great pastime, and nothing more to be said really. With her hands in the sink, she gazed out at the yard, and wondered why life had to be quite so hard. She dreamed of a life like Ginger and Fred, a far different life to the one she now led. Across rows of grey rooftops the sky threatened rain, and she knew that tomorrow would be just the same. She sighed as she wearily brushed back her curls. Choices were few for colliery girls, but for 3 hours on Monday she'd a different life. She was nobody's mother and nobody's wife. Across the welfare hall dance floor she'd glide and she'd twirl. Remember the joy she felt as a girl. The old upright piano her father would play, home from the pit at the end of the day. She'd dance round the kitchen as light as you please, as her father's long fingers danced over the keys. Teenage hours she spent dreaming at the Empress or Ritz, immersed in a world of glamour and glitz. She'd long to be Ginger in the arms of her Fred, but a collier's wife is what she was instead. But for 3 hours on Monday she'd a different life. She was nobody's mother and nobody's wife. Across the welfare hall dance floor she'd glide and she'd twirl. Remember the joy she felt as a girl. Monday night was the time when she could pretend. She tried not to think how soon it would end. She'd waltz and she'd quickstep, not stopping to breathe. Lost in the dance and she played make-believe. The cha-cha was cheeky, the foxtrot sublime. The tango was daring, she forgot about time. Wrapped in the music, her body would sway, and tomorrow still sure seemed a lifetime away. Yes, for 3 hours on Monday she'd a different life. She was nobody's mother and nobody's wife. Across the welfare hall dance floor she'd glide and she'd twirl. Remember the joy she felt as a girl. Across the welfare hall dance floor she'd glide and she'd twirl. And remember the joy she felt as a girl. Make-believe Mondays.
Nice, Jackie.
Oh. It's so nice to be following Jackie because we have a sort of the English heritage in common, I guess, among other things probably. So I based this song, which is another new song, on one of the old Arthurian legends, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. In this one of those stories, King Arthur is sent off by a sorceress to find the answer to the question, what is it that women most desire? This is a question that has obsessed men for centuries, and I still don't know the answer, but I based this little song on that idea, what is it that women most desire? So this is called All Fair Ladies.
Tell me, ladies, much admired, ask and we will answer you. Name the thing you most desire, ask and we will answer you. Shall it be a diamond or a pin? Must I be a pauper or a king? Tell me if you can what I must bring, a lady fair, for my lady's love to win. Will she care for pomp and state? Ask and we will answer you. Plump young fowl to fill her plate, ask and we will answer true. Shall it be a diamond or a pin? Must I be a pauper or a king? Tell me if you can what I must bring, a lady fair, for my lady's hand to win. Will my riches turn her head? Yes, but they'll not reach her heart. Will she prize good sport in bed? Yes, but you must learn the art. Be thou lord or prince or knave, so say all fair ladies. When you're schooled in what she craves, so say all fair ladies. Let your lady have her will, then your cup of joy shall be filled. If no other gift you bring your lady fair, you your lady's heart shall win. Let your lady have her will, then your cup of joy shall be filled. If no other thing you bring your lady fair, you your lady's heart shall win. You your lady's heart shall win.
Terrific.
Wonderful.
That was wonderful. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's wonderful. So, I'm going to have another stab at the one I couldn't remember the line to. When you're hanging by a thread and you're in danger of falling and no one seems to notice, I'll be the one who hears you calling, and I'll be on my way before your thread can fray. When you're hanging by a thread, I'll be your safety net. And if you're running out of time and your pockets are empty and no one believes in you, for you I'll always have plenty. When you've nothing up your sleeve, you can always count on me. When you're running out of time, I'll be your credit line. I'll be your soothing balm. I'll be your cooling water. I'll be your sister, your brother, and most of all, I'll be your friend. When all you can do is cry, and your nights are sleepless, and no one understands why, I'll be there to help pick up the pieces. When all your notes go wrong and you can't even sing your own song, when all you can do is cry, I'll be your lullaby. I'll be your rock of faith. I'll be your rock of hope. I'll be your melody, harmony. Most of all, I'll be your friend. I'll be your soothing balm. I'll be your cooling water. I'll be your sister, your brother, and most of all, I'll be your friend. I'll be your sister, your brother, and best of all, I'll be your friend. Thank you.
Okay,
Hey,
going back to the family tree. This is based on true events in one of my ancestors' life, and they all happened to the same person. So it's all true, apart from the bits that I've made up. This is called Emily Cried. Dragged from the cozy realms of sleep by the hammering on the door, she stood there on the landing barefoot on the freezing was sobbing told her life would never be the same, and her father's jaunty whistling would not be heard again. And Emily cried, and Emily sighed. She hated the feeling she had deep inside. And though she didn't know that was the start, the day her tears turned to ice in her heart. One day after school, her mother met her at the door. She handed her a letter and it shook her to the core. She'd to say goodbye to school and the books she loved to read, and travel far away to work, one less mouth to feed. And Emily cried, and Emily sighed. She hated the feeling she had deep inside. And though she felt lost from a home torn apart, the anger burnt cold and fed the ice in her heart. He was handsome in his uniform, his mustache neat and trim. She knew from their first meeting that she would marry him. But 1915 came and dreams were shattered as before. With a baby sleeping in her arms, she waved him off to war. And Emily cried, and Emily sighed. She hated the feeling she had deep inside. And the pain was so sharp, sharp as a dart. And with each falling tear, the ice grew in her heart. For 4 long dismal years, she struggled on alone. Then came the joyful news, he was coming home. But as she looked into his eyes, she felt so bereft. For the man who had returned to her was not the one who left. But she didn't cry, and she didn't sigh. She vowed not to have that feeling inside. And this time she knew that was the start. There'd be only ice where she once had a heart. Yes, this time she knew that was the start. There'd be only ice where she once had a heart. Emily cried.
Lovely. Well, I'm just going to do one of my old chestnuts. I'd like to dedicate this to Art. Because Art is something of an old chestnut himself. No, not really. A young old chestnut. Just a love song. This is called I'm Amazed.
I don't need the mountains, I don't need the trees, and I don't need the splendor of the sun that shines on me. Well, I don't need the treasures buried out at sea, and I don't need the lovely gardens of antiquity. Well, I've traveled far cork, twisted and scarred, nothing could move in my soul. But I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. Dreams claw at me in the night. They whisper of tragedies not yet come to light. We must hold on to these precious times when I'm here by your side and you are by mine. Out on the road, though you are far from me, everywhere I go, wonder is all that I see. Better than the mountains, better than the trees, better than the splendor of the sun that shines on me, better than the treasures buried out at sea, better than the mighty temples of antiquity. I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. Yes, I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life.
Beautiful. What a tune.
Right.
Oops.
Terrific. Absolutely terrific.
That was wonderful. Yeah. Oh. So the next song I'm going to do was just requested by Randy Emmons, who was here at the last show, some of you may remember, and called me up to tell me he really liked this one. So I'm going to do it for him as he's now requested it. I wrote this song shortly after 9/11 when my daughter called me up. She'd been going to school in New York and got to watch the towers come down, had to watch the towers come down from her bedroom window. And she called me up to ask if she should come home. And I said, well, you know, you can if you want to, but you've still got to do your life. And I ended up writing this song for her. I know you've been watching the world go by, and so often it makes you cry and wonder if it's worth rising in the morning. But though it causes you so much pain, sooner or later it all will change. That's what it always does. When everything you counted on, everything you thought was true, hits the ground and runs away from you, what can you do but live your whole life, give your whole heart anyway, seek your whole truth, speak your whole mind anyway. one foot in front of the other, step by step, day by day, any way you have to. I know you want to, but you're afraid. But what makes you feel that way is the message of fear you're hearing every day. But don't listen to what they say. Some people live their whole lives that way, but that's not you. You've only got a moment, and it won't last. Lots of other hard times are in your past. The future's up to you, so live your whole life, give your whole heart anyway. Seek your whole truth, speak your whole mind anyway. One foot in front of the other, step by step, day by day, any way you have to, any way you can, any way you'll have to, anyway. Thank you. Is anyone else hearing a real loud noise?
Yeah, someone's not muted.
Yeah, it's like a roar.
Yeah. I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't think Phil's muted.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. No idea. I apologize. I'm really sorry.
it happens.
Right, I was hoping not to have to do this song, but we're racing through them. A short while ago, another singer-songwriter local to me asked me if I'd like to collaborate on some songs, and I said yes. This is the first one that we've attempted, and he set me a challenge, which reminded me a bit of Jan, because she was always being set challenges. And he said that they'd had a supermarket delivery, and there was a bag of parsnips which were marked perfectly imperfect. What did I make of that? Anyway, this is the result, perfectly imperfect. It may go horribly wrong, because I've never sung this before in public. Cruising with my trolley down the supermarket aisle, when a sign by the fruit and veg made me stop and smile. It read perfectly imperfect parsnips, buy one get one free. I thought, perfectly imperfect, that sums up you and me. We don't agree on anything, not food, not films or books. If I make a noise when football's on, you give me such filthy looks. You're an opera buff and I'm country, with a bit of R&B. You need your morning coffee, I crave my builder's tea. Frequently you drive me mad, I know I do the same, but I wouldn't change a single thing. It's not a case of who's to blame. And though we often disagree, I love you endlessly, 'cause perfectly imperfect works for me. You're a hardcore vegetarian, which I've tried so hard to be, but I love a bacon sandwich as long as you're not there to see. The words we use are different, your accent's not like mine, and we know we're incompatible. our star signs don't align. And frequently you drive me mad, I know I do the same. And I wouldn't change a single thing, it's not a case of who's to blame. And though we often disagree, I love you endlessly, 'cause perfectly imperfect works for me. It's a puzzle, an enigma, we don't know why it works. Your peculiarities and me with all my quirks. People say we're poles apart, but opposites attract. And the bond we have's unbreakable, there's no denying that. And frequently you drive me mad, I know I do the same. But I wouldn't change a single thing, it's not a case of who's to blame. And though we often disagree, I love you endlessly, 'cause perfectly imperfect works for me. Yes, perfectly imperfect works for me. Perfectly imperfect works for me.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I wrote with Jonathan really.
But to be honest, I'm glad you ran out of songs and had to do that one. That was a fine song.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, this is another song about star-crossed lovers, I guess. This is the second of two songs that I've written on the theme of ladies. If you remember, I did a song a couple of songs back called All Fair Ladies, which is on the theme of what ladies want. This song is what ladies. This song is about what ladies do when they don't get what they want. So that when I record them, I'm actually going to do them as a medley. Anyway, this is the second song on the theme of ladies. This is called. Well, it's about a lady whose lover has gone off to live with a Spanish woman. So this is called Spanish Galleon. Oh, take me aboard your fine Spanish galleon. I must make my way to the port of Cadiz. My true love is there and still wears my medallion, for I am worth more than that lady of his. How much should I pay you to grant me the passage? A poor maid I am, little money have I. His lady is rich and she rides in a carriage, and she has bewitched him with dark Spanish eyes. Oh, take me aboard your fine Spanish galleon. I must make my way to the port of Cadiz. My true love is there and still wears my medallion, for I am worth more than that lady of his. I know he will love me again when I find him, for he bears my image yet close to his heart. No more will her jewels and her finery blind him, no more will she practice a poisonous art. Oh, take me aboard your fine Spanish galleon. I must make my way to the port of Cadiz. My true love is there and still wears my medallion, for I am worth more than that lady of his. I am worth so much more than signors of his.
Wow.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. Well, I'm going to sing one about what ladies are like when they do get what they want. But before I do, so Rupert, where are you going to be next? And where can people find you online?
Thank you for asking. Well, I was going to be in Arkansas this coming weekend, but they've cancelled all the dates down there. I had 3 shows lined up. They've all been cancelled because of COVID, so I'm going to lose about $1,000 at least. That's just the
Oh,
way it is.
ouch.
That's just the way it is. But I think they're right. Arkansas is just particularly bad, and we're all paying the price, let me say, for an awful lot of stubbornness on the part of people down there who are not getting their vaccinations. Let me say that now because it's costing us all literally quite dearly in different ways. You may disagree with that, but that's the way that I feel about it. So all those gigs have gone. I was going to play at Winfield, but the Fingerstyle Championship is coming up in 2 weeks' time. That also I've had to cancel for different reasons. Then I'm going to the West Coast at the end of this month for some gigs, which have all been, a sort of the formats have been rearranged so as to try to make it possible for us to go ahead with those gigs. So I will be going on tour on the West Coast, playing in front of limited audiences, all wearing masks and probably all having to present proof of vaccination. That's all fine by me. That's the way it should be. And I think I'd rather play in front of a small audience than not play at all. I've said that again and again to all the presenters. So I'm hoping that those gigs, I'm sure that those gigs will go ahead, and I'm hoping that other gigs also will go ahead. So that's my answer to your question. Sorry. Excuse my bile coming out there.
That's perfectly fine. I've got plenty of bile of my own. And where can people find you online?
Thank you. Well, it's rupertwaitesmusic.com, rupertwaitesmusic.com.
Excellent. And Jackie, where are you going to be next? And is there any place where people can find you online?
Well, there isn't actually. I'm very incognito. Tomorrow night I'll be at the Dun Cow in Houghtonleigh Spring. Thursday I'll be at the Anchor Folk Club in Byfleet. And if anybody wants to tune in to see us, I'll put the link.
Excellent. Yes, please do.
And then the next time at Jerusalem, which will be in 2 weeks' time, I should think.
Yes. Okay, so this Any Sunday show will happen again on September 19th, and my guess will be, now I just looked this up, John Ferrulo, who I met online at one of the song circles, and also Marianne McAllister, who is here this afternoon. Wave your hand. So people can see you. Yes, an amazing guitarist and singer, and I'm really looking forward to the show. If you would like to be notified of the shows when they happen, please put your email in the chat. And speaking of the chat, you should have that open. There's lots going on over there, including our tip jar, which, pardon my crassness, but there it is. There's a tip jar, which will be split 3 ways at the end of the show. So, I'm hoping for your generosity. And you can find me at jansides.com or on Bandcamp or Rick wants me to say it again. Shall I say it again? There's a tip jar in this in the chat. And this is about what ladies feel like when they do get what they want. Don't seem like much when you snuggle up closer. If it's cold at night, don't seem like much that you rub my shoulders when I come home tired. But I don't know what I would ever do if I had to live in this world without you. Don't seem like much, but it's everything to me. Don't seem like much keeps people together these days. It takes a miracle or two. That's still not enough if you hear some tell it, and it sure don't seem to see them through. But in these tough and turbulent times, when love's so easily forgotten, still you don't forget mine. Don't seem like much, but it's everything to me. So many drops fill the ocean, so many stars fill the skies above, so many acts of devotion fill my heart with love. So it means so much when you tell me you love me, though we've had a fight. And it means so much when you say that you're sorry too, even when you were right. It's just a minor detail in the master plan, 'cause I'm just a woman, you're just a man. Don't seem like much, but it's everything to me. I don't mean it's unimportant or any kind of slight. I just wanted you to know that you're doing it right. Don't seem like much, I know, but it's everything to me. Everything. Thank you.
Oh, lovely.
Perfect background, Rick.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. This is a song I wrote at a time of several losses, really, and well, doesn't need any more introduction. It's called A Robin Calls. A feather falls, a robin calls, a trace of perfume in the air, an echo of your favorite song, and I can see you standing there. Each day there's a reminder of happy times now past. The photographs may fade away, but the memories hold fast. And I thought we'd have more time to do all the things we planned, but one day fate stepped in. Why, I'll never understand. I'd love to hold your hand again and hug you close once more, share a secret or a joke as we often did before. I know you didn't want to leave, the pain just got too much to bear, but how I wish I could once again see you standing there. And I thought we'd have more time to do all the things we planned. One day fate stepped in. Why, I'll never understand. Sometimes a veil of cobwebs is all that lies between. A times we spent together and the times that might have been. And I thought we'd have more time to do all the things we planned. One day fate stepped in, why I'll never understand. Yes, I thought we'd have more time to do all the things we planned. One day fate stepped in, why I'll never understand. No, I'll never understand. A robin calls.
That was a lovely vocal, in particular there, Jackie. I particularly liked your vocal on that track.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'm going to follow it with a sad song of my own. This is the title song of my most recent CD, which is called Lamentations, and you can buy it from my music site, rupertwatesmusic.com. This is called Lamentations. Once I was lovely, once I was young, once I rejoiced in the light of the sun. Once the pure waters flowed straight to my well. Now I sing lamentations to heaven or hell. The keys of the kingdom were thrown at my feet. A table was laden, all I could eat. Now I beg them to feed me through the bars of a cell, and I sing lamentations to heaven and hell. Lord, if you're listening from so far away, to all the dim voices that whisper and pray, show us your mercy, tell us all shall be well, while we sing the lamentations from heaven or hell. Once I was golden, once I was young, and I danced in the light of the moon and the sun. Now I've grown weary of the sound of the bell, and I sing lamentations to heaven and hell, and I sing lamentations from heaven or hell.
Wow.
Let me second that. Wow.
That's exceptional.
Thank you. Whoever said that, I wasn't sure. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
We've been watching the latest iteration of El Cid, and you just, the up and down fluctuations of his life, that Lamentations absolutely reminds me of that. In fact, you should offer it to them as something to play. See if you can get a placement. They are not done. They're on, I think, the 3rd season. So on my website, you can find both the CD and the book that goes with my most recent album. It's called Unsung, and it's stories from the Bible that no one ever got to hear because nobody asked the people in question. And it's about to turn into a musical. I'm currently writing new parts and a couple of new songs for how to thread all those stories together so that they can be put on a stage, which is pretty exciting to me. This, however, is the song that started it all, and it's not on that album. It's on a different one. It just happens to be about a biblical person, and somebody came up to me after I sang it on stage one night and said, you ought to read this book I just read. It's called Women in the Bible, and it's all about women in the Bible. And that was what really started that album growing. But this was written because I had hurt my back, and I'd been pretty arrogant about how I'd never hurt my back, so I totally deserved what happened to me. But for about a month and a half, remember the character on Boston Legal that was on the spectrum, and when he walked around with his hands on his knees? That was me for about 6 weeks. And when you're in the middle of one of those things, it's really hard to remember that it will get better. I mean, that's the assumption, that it will get better when you have a chance to think about it. But when you're just feeling about it, it feels like it never will. I did this song in Jerusalem this morning. This was my daughter's Torah portion, which made me think of it. God spoke to Abraham, saying, you're no longer young, but we will have a covenant, and pretty soon you'll have a son. He will found a nation, numberless as flakes of snow. When Sarah heard it, she said, what, we are far too old. And Sarah laughed. Sometimes a miracle seems probable as taking wing, so I just spend my time contemplating foolish things, counting drops in a sea of trouble, sifting grains of shifting sand, trying to solve the cosmic puzzle. Sometimes I think I understand why Sarah laughed. Did she laugh 'cause she lacked faith, or 'cause she just couldn't see anyway getting there from here could ever come to pass? If it's so hard to see beyond the wall across my road, guess I'll just take my leave and trust my wings will grow. 'Cause life ain't over till it's over, and it ain't over even then. Fear is old, but hope is older, and when I doubt, I remember that Sarah laughed. How Sarah laughed. Sarah laughed.
Fantastic song.
Thank you.
I thought that image was pretty amazing too.
That image?
The one behind me, Sarah laughed.
Yeah. And then denied it, which I thought was pretty interesting. Like, oops. Yeah, that's pretty appropriate. Good for you, Rick.
Yeah, well done.
I wish I could say I was the artist, but no, I just found it.
Well, as I said earlier, I grew up in a small mining village on the northeast coast. They're all former mining villages now because they've all gone. And my Uncle Arthur used to take me on really long walks. He was a great nature lover. He instilled in me a love of all things natural. He knew the names of every tree and flower. and the beach was black from the coal waste from the colliery, but he always found some little oasis of greenery, and there was always a skylark singing. Probably not, but in my memory there was always a skylark. This is called Uncle Arthur's Skylark. Under the railway bridge, down to the sea, past the one-eyed pony by the hawthorn tree, and where the steel grey sea met the coal-black strand, there we found an unlikely wonderland where the skylark soared. The skylark soared. In your boots, flat cap, and your old tweed coat, a muffler always tied around your throat. High on the beach banks we love to stand, tiny fingers clasped in a giant hand, and the skylark soared. The skylark soared. We were never very far from the pithead's glare, but we had salt spray in our faces and a sea breeze in our hair, and the skylark sang with all her might above the clanking and the whirring of the aerial flight. Yes, the skylark soared. The skylark soared. You showed me the green among the grey. You said despite the plans of man, nature always has her way. You taught me all the names of the trees and flowers, while dandelion clocks marked the passing of the hours, and we wondered at the marvels the changing seasons bring, with hips and haws in autumn and cowslips in the spring, where the skylark soared. The skylark soared. On that sad day when you had to leave and we gathered round black-clad to grieve, well, I knew in my heart you were not really gone, when overhead I heard the skylark song. Yes, the skylark soared. The skylark soared. The skylark soared. The skylark soared. Uncle Arthur's Skylark.
That was just beautiful. We need to get together someday. I need to sing harmony with you.
That would be wonderful.
I was singing harmony there as well, actually. I think we could have had a trio,
Yeah.
transatlantic trio. So this actually, your song, Jackie, put me in mind of this song of mine, because this also is about finding an oasis in the middle of the ugly, brutal industrial world that we all have to live in. Actually, I wrote this for my wife, who runs a non-profit organisation dedicated to helping young kids, particularly young teenage girls, find their own inner beauty. And it's called Realise Your Beauty, her organisation. This song is called The Ballad of a Brown-Eyed Girl, and I envisaged a girl who went to live on a desert island for 3 days and 3 nights. And even though she was all alone, she made her desert island a beautiful place. Ballad of a Brown-Eyed Girl.
She was a young girl with eyes of brown, lived 3 days all alone on an island where the wind and the rain made a pitiful sound, and the sun and the sea endlessly pound the rocks on the shore and the white sand. On the first day she wrote with a stick in the sand words of welcome to all passing sailors, but as evening fell on the very same day, the tide coming in washed her words away, while the light of the moon grew she stood at her window and sang a beautiful song to the morning. But no one was there on her island to hear, and the beautiful song that she sang disappeared in the sound of the rain that kept falling. On the third day she woke and she planted the seed of a rose that would bloom in her garden. But the sun beats down and it withered the rose, for she'd chosen a place where no river flows, in a land that never gives pardon. And though none ever read what she wrote in the sand, or heard what she sang from her window, though the rose that she planted died in her hand, for 3 days the cruel world was a lovelier land, for the brown-eyed girl had made it so. She was a young girl with eyes of brown, lived 3 days all alone on an island, where the wind and the rain made a pitiful sound, and the sun and the sea endlessly pound the rocks on the shore and the white sand.
Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful. So I was going to do something else, but we just spent about a week and a half by the ocean north of San Francisco. And there's something about being by the ocean, even if you can't specifically hear it at night, you know it's there. And this is the 4th time we've been back to this same place because we've fallen in love with it. In fact, as we were going to it, I was thinking, you know, if I had to choose between going to Hawaii and going to this place, I really don't know which one I'd choose. But it's up there amongst the redwoods, and there's no desert. There's large black rocks in the ocean off the coast, and there's a lighthouse. The place is called Point Arena, and Point Arena sports a lighthouse. And this is a song about Point Arena. Blue skies, sunshine, sea foam sparkling on the shore, tall pines, grapevines, and a blackbird raconteur. Sunday morning, peaceful as a prayer. It's spring in Point Arena. It's spring in Point Arena, and the birds of California are singing everywhere. Yeah. Bright eyes, white smiles in this tiny seaside town. New friends clasp our hands and invite us to sit down. Sunday gathering, picnic in the park, the sun is setting and the fog rolls in, and we must leave. But spring in Point Arena, spring in Point Arena, and the birds of California will sing on. Spring in Point Arena, spring in Point Arena, and the birds of California will sing on in my dream. It's spring in Point Arena. Thank you.
Wow.
You should go there. You'd love it.
Okay. This is a traditional song which
May I interrupt for just a second? This is very likely our last round.
okay.
So we'll see if there's time for a little short one at the end, but just so you know.
This is a traditional song which I actually learned at school. And it's been appropriated by a number of areas. But when I was at school, it was about the River Tyne in the northeast. But it can be about any river you like. The water is wide, I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Bring me a boat that will carry two, and both shall row, my true love and I. There is a ship, and she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not as deep as this love I'm in. I know not if I sink or swim. I leaned my back against an oak, thinking it was a trusty tree, but first it bent and then it broke, just as my love proved false to me. Oh, love is handsome and love is fine, bright as a jewel when first it's new, but love grows old and love grows cold and fades away like morning dew. Oh, the water is wide, I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Bring me a boat that will carry two, and both shall row, my true love and I. Yes, both shall row, my true love and I. Water is wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditional is good.
That was one of my the first songs that I learned actually as well when I was trying to learn to sing. I'm still learning to sing, of course. It was one of the first songs that I heard. Anyway, this song is, I guess this is my last one. I'd like to say thank you to to Jan for hosting us, and Jackie for being the co guinea pig, whatever we should call it, the co-performer. Nice to meet you.
Your fellow victim.
Fellow victim, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
So
too.
that song was about too much water, and this song also is about too much water, but this is about the end of the water, the end of the rain. It's a hopeful song, and I think we're beginning to see the end of the long rains that we've just been through, at least I certainly hope so. So this is called After the Rains.
Eagle shakes his feathers dry after the rains are gone, makes his home the wide blue sky after the rains are gone, and colors waiting to amaze are open to the gentle rays of the day to come after the rains are gone. Clearer lights after the rains are gone, and we will see with clearer sights after the rains are gone. And when the rain dries on our cheeks to leave us on our mountain peak, then we will hear our vision speak. Through the mist of joy and pain, the morning bird will sing again, although the night was long. And if no trace of us remains to say we walked in love's domain, his will be our song after the rains are gone. Eagle shakes her feathers dry after the rains are gone, and makes her home the clear blue sky after the rains are gone, after the rains are gone.
That was lovely. I'm praying for that. So I just wanted to say thank you to Rupert and Jackie. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, despite your better judgment, I'm sure. But I've totally enjoyed both of your music and couldn't wait to show you off to everyone I know. And hopefully everyone I know got to hear it. It will live forever as far as I'm concerned, but it will live on YouTube. So if you heard anything you loved and you have a desire to hear it again, you can go to YouTube on my channel. That'll be youtube.com/JanCites and listen to it all again. Wouldn't that be lovely? And it's been a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody for being here to share it with us. This is my hope for the future. When those gray skies seem to be falling in, when the hard times get harder and the good times grow thin, don't let that old rocky road rock you off of your feet. One day you'll be dancing down easy street. You gotta hold on, hold on. 'Cause one day you'll have it all. If you hold on, one day you'll be dancing down easy street. I wrote this one while I was living in LA. Had a completely different meaning then than it does now. Well, too many times your tears roll by. You've been down too many roads paved with too many lies and promises dripping gold. Honey sweet, one day you'd be dancing down easy street. You gotta hold on, hold on. 'Cause one day you'll have it all. If you hold on, one day you'll be dancing down easy street. Somewhere there's rainbow shining in the sky, and dollar bills, they float on down before your eyes, and the last piece of your puzzle will make your life complete. One day you'll be dancing down easy street. So you gotta hold on, 'cause one day you'll have it all. If you hold on, one day you'll be dancing down easy street. One day you'll be dancing down easy street.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
no, thank you for the invitation, and thank everyone in the audience for the kind comments.
So, Jackie, you're going to be at Dunkow Song Circle tomorrow. That for those of you who receive my newsletter, I'm not supposed to call it that, but for those of you who receive my emails, that link is in that email. And if you'd like to be on my email list, please put your name and your email in the chat. And you can join us there in, I believe it's the north of England, is it not?
The northeast, it's where I'm from.
Ah, so you can join us in the UK and you don't even have to deal with the airport.
Was this also on Facebook, by the way, Jan? Is this also on Facebook?
Dunkow? I'm not sure. It might be.
No, they don't put it on Facebook. No.
Okay,
Just you.
great.
Oh, it's a great session. It really is.
It is. You'll be glad you're there. And Rupert, you're going to be live, assuming nothing gets canceled. Are you going to be online anywhere?
Well, to be brutally honest, I hope not. You know, I'd far rather play for real life people. You know, but if we have to go back online, then we will. But I mean, I'd far rather play for people who are in the same room as me. You know, it's not the same.
I understand. No, it's not.
No, yes, I'm going to be on the West Coast for sure. I've got about a dozen gigs in the West Coast and the North Midwest, and I'll be getting back to New York at the end of October. And but I have some gigs planned in the South, but I'm expecting those ones will probably be cancelled because the South is just such a mess right now. But so, can I just ask what we just the show that we just did, is that on Facebook now, or is it where else can one see it?
The, the
The show
I'm
that we-
sorry. This show,
Yes.
it will live on Facebook as long as they let it.
Right.
Facebook being the authoritarian bent that they have, and it'll be on my YouTube channel for as long as there is YouTube.
Okay, good. That's long
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, one can only hope. Yes, the South is a mess. You are a master of understatement. What was I going to ask you? Oh yeah, yes. Being online is different from being in the same room, but it makes a good substitute. And the only
I don't want to.
to paraphrase somebody's book title, in space, no one can hear your harmony. In cyberspace.
Well, I mean, and I don't want to give the impression I didn't enjoy doing this, but it's just that what we all really most want to do is to play in front of other people, because that's what music is all about. It's like physical contact with the audience. It can't be duplicated. But I appreciate online is great too. And I appreciate what
Yeah.
you've done for us all. Here we all are on different continents listening to each other. That's amazing.
Yes. Yes.
You wouldn't get all this.
The best for at least our perspective
Yes.
is the ability to sing along with people.
Right.
You really
Uh-huh.
can't do that online because of the
Time lag.
latency.
The
Yeah.
delay. Yes, you're right.
Speak for yourself, Richard. Some of us, it's better they don't hear.
Here, Janice.
So before we go, I wanted to mention that the next place I'm going to be will also be online. It'll be Tuesday, September 14th, when I'll be doing an hour's concert for a nonprofit here in Austin, Texas called HAM, HAAM, which stands for Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. This is their yearly fundraiser, and all of us who benefit from HAM, and most of Austin musicians actually do benefit from HAM to one degree or another, all pitch in and do shows to raise money for them in case we need it in the following year or in case someone else does it. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. But again, if you want to know all these details, please sign up for my mailing list. I promise I'll never spam you, and I send an average of 2 emails a month, so it's not like I'm filling up your inbox, unless I'm having a sale, and then
they're
I'll fill
always
up
interesting.
Thank you.
They're always interesting. I always read them.
Thank you. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marianne, I have a question about Venmo. Do we need 4 digits to complete? It's asking me for last 4 digits of your phone. I just so
Oh, okay. Yes, let me tell you. The last 4 digits of my phone number are 2115. I forgot they did that for people that they didn't already know.
I'm not on your
Yeah.
so
So
okay.
2115 are the numbers they're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you. Anyway, it's been wonderful having y'all here, and thank you for coming, and I hope you'll come back.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Jan.
See you later.
Bye.
Always.
Lashana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
To all of us
Rupert,
members of the tribe.
Yes, there's a lot of us here, except I don't really celebrate. Rupert, I have to ask you, did you see what I put in the chat to you privately?
I was just you mean the insults? You mean that you?
No, not the the invitation.
So no, I
Are you-
appreciate that. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, that gig, as far as I know, is going ahead. So I'll let you know about that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because you're welcome to stay with us.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank
Okay, I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Jackie,
welcome.
Is
This was
there
great.
any,
See you later, Val. See you.
well,
everybody.
any
Art, I'll probably see
way
you
we can-
Wednesday, maybe.
Hold on. What is it, Richard?
is there any way we can find about Jackie's performances?
Jackie's not. Come to Duncow, Richard.
Yeah. Come
Yeah.
to Duncow.
Not this Monday, next Monday. I think you're busy tomorrow night.
I think you'll
Yes,
enjoy
we are
meeting
definitely
Wendy.
busy tomorrow night. We got the whole Ganze Mishpacha coming.
For people that means his family.
Yes,
family, right?
his whole family.
Yeah.
The whole mishpacha.
Yes.
How many are you
Good
going to be, Richard?
night.
We're going to be 18.
18.
It will be a bit less than that because most of our family's from overseas, but my son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren will be here during the day on Rosh Hashanah. And we're looking forward to that. I'm making lamb and stuffing for them.
Sounds
Ooh,
good.
I'll be right there. I'm a vegetarian. I'll eat stuffing.
Okay, good night.
We cook for vegetarians, Jen.
people.
You're welcome
Bye.
anytime.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Jen. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. It was great.
Thank you for coming.
See you.